What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. You know, when EA does the right thing, we're going to talk about it. And today, I think EA took a huge step in the right direction. They've actually done this before, but I want to talk about it today because outside of the players dropping passes, the most recent patch I've seen more mixed feedback from than any patch this year. The competitive gamers, the sim gamers, the MUT gamers, everyone has their own issue. What EA has elected to do is have this Madden user voice. It's a forum where you can go and give your feedback until Thursday. So only a handful of days to do this. So I wanted to hurry up and get a video out about it. But basically what they're asking is the community to give feedback. Now, a lot of times when we give feedback, it's done through a beta. It's done through private communication with developers. It's done through a social media manager. And sometimes you guys don't have that same opportunity. So when EA gives you the same opportunity they give any other creator, I'm certainly going to ask you guys to go take advantage of it. Go express to EA your displeasure with this product. Go express to them what you want changed. Go ask them for the features, options, benefits, whatever it is that you want. Take this opportunity to share it with them. Go on social media, share it with me, put me in the tweet, let EA know. Hey, we're hearing you want our opinion, and we're willing to share our opinion, but it's a two-way street. If you are going to invest your time going to the website, if you're going to invest your critical thinking to create a list or to create concepts or to give them ideas to help them sell next year's game, right, then they owe it to you the same dedication and commitment that you made to them to work towards putting it in the game. So I know a lot of people like to talk about what Madden is missing. I know a lot of people like to go back, especially since I brought up 2K5. I've got some 2K8 on the way. And you're going to see different games, right? I don't just mean different football video games. I don't mean just different companies making football games. I mean two games that look completely different in how they actually replicate the sport. So when you take those ideologies of what you want from those games brought into Madden, you have to at least tell them, hey, I asked this to be done. I asked you to do this. I went to you with my feedback. I devoted my time. I cared enough to give my input. And you didn't return it to me. So hopefully you guys can take a couple minutes today or over the next couple days, right? Sit down. Put something constructive together, okay? I'm going to stress that to you. I've dealt with a lot of developers in my life. Okay, and the first time I heard somebody tell me, you have to give constructive feedback, I thought they just didn't want to hear what I had to say. But what they meant was when people give them feedback, you can't just say, I don't like this, the game is bad. I don't like this coverage, the coverage is bad. I don't like this tackle, the tackle is bad. You have to tell them what you don't like. I don't like this coverage because the receiver runs through it and doesn't get checked by the defensive back. The defensive back doesn't fire his feet when he's dropping back, so therefore it seems like he has no momentum when he has to accelerate. I don't like this tackle because it's not branchable in this animation when somebody comes up from the side and all of a sudden the ball gets knocked out every single time. Right? Give them that detailed level of feedback. And like I said, you're making an investment. You're putting your time into this. You could do anything you wanted. Probably couldn't play a quality football game from EA Sports during that time, mind you, but we're working toward it. You could do anything you wanted with this time. So when you've made your list, when you've compiled everything, go over to Twitter, tweet them, tweet other people, let them see what you want. That to me is just as powerful as anything I can do on my channel. I've seen people with 10, 30, 40 followers have hundreds of retweets, right? Because they simply tweeted EA. Someone else saw it and said, yeah, I want that in my game too. Yeah, I'm tired of that problem myself. Yeah, I remember a couple years ago when the game did that. And the great thing about Madden's struggle is we all relate to it. We all remember how good certain aspects of the game are. We're all frustrated certain aspects of the game are gone. So what you have is the ability for your note, email, whatever it is, whatever you're taking this from. Because I know for many of us, sitting down and creating a feedback list for EA is nothing new. You know, generally we refer to them as wish lists, meaning like we wish EA would start working on its game, and here's the list for them to start working on, right? So this isn't a new approach of people asking or giving feedback to EA, but wherever you're taking your list from, take the time to make sure it's constructive. Take the time to make sure it's thought out. Take the time to provide it to EA. Share it with other people. And then make sure you hold them accountable. Doesn't have to be this year. Doesn't have to be next year. But at some point, you owe it to yourself, because EA owes it to you to sit down and look at that list and revisit what you asked for and say, is it in the game? If it's not, then you need to go back to EA and ask why. And there's proven records that this can actually change the game. Okay, mouthpieces are put in the game now because of lists like this, because of interactions like this, because someone took the time, enough people took the time, and EA found a way to monetize it, to write down that they wanted mouthpieces in the game. And EA responded. So no matter how small you think it is, no matter how minute of a detail you think, you can actually sit down and make some real progress with this game. I'd also offer to you that other games in the community, Axis Football, Maximum Football, are extremely receptive to their fans. They actually turn wish lists into game patch updates and actual features the following year. Now, not to intermix these games too much, but a lot of people have asked, where is your Maximum Football content? Unfortunately, because of the release of the game came out on a past build, every time I've sat down with the game, any progress I've made has been lost, and anything I've done has had to be redone. So until the game is stable, until I feel like we're not going to have any more updates, and I'm hoping that's this week, I will sit down and start to do some more breakdowns and some more coverage of the game, but unfortunately, it's just no way to get around it. Just as with any other game, you have to have a kind of a complete and finished product before people can start to constructively look at it, and if you're going to continue to patch it, you hinder our ability to do that. So no matter whose fault it was that this older build was released, it certainly negatively impacted the game, and it certainly should have never happened. Whether that fault lies on Microsoft or Canuck or whoever in between, hopefully they learn from that experience and don't release a game like that in the future. Because it's certainly given a lot of people the very wrong impression of that game. It's certainly given people a much worse expectation of the product than they should have had. And I think we've all learned, if nothing else, from Madden, that many people will take their first time playing the game and use that as the judge or barometer of the game, period. If I pick up the game and I don't like it, I'm not going to play it anymore. I don't care if you had a bad build. I don't care if you need to patch it. I don't care if it needs an update. There were things I didn't like about it. Therefore, I'm done with it. Now, as far as Axis Football, I'm hoping to have some release information for them coming up. But I also know, given all of these things, Axis is in the best position to be successful. They've sat back and watched all these issues hinder other games, whether it's a release that has problems, whether it's the patch that has problems. So they need to make sure, hey, we're not going to put ourselves in this position to accept feedback like this from the community that's continuously negative, overly negative. Right? When it doesn't actually have to be that way. When we're all capable of putting out the final product, the best product, the first time. I think all of these games, in general, are becoming far too dependent on rushing a product out and then patching a product once we've paid for it. And that's not fair to anyone. Certainly not fair to us as gamers. So maybe the first thing, if I was writing this out in terms of feedback to EA, the first thing that I would put is can you do a better job at giving us the final product the day I buy it? Because I don't want to have to wait till week 4, 5, and 6 in the NFL season to know that I'm playing the best product you can offer me. I want that before the season starts, when I've made the commitment to pre-order or purchase your game. Perhaps another thing I would mention is you don't want to see ever again a time frame where your purchase gets devalued by a massive giveaway of codes or a free trial that extends well beyond the time frame that it should have. Then go into your issues. But I think if you start with those two things, there's no one at EA Sports that can't look at that and say, hey, this person actually follows our game, knows our product, plays our game, and is aware of our issues. Let's put a little bit more credibility into this, because we know they know what's been going on with this game. Other than that, can't wait for the content I have this week to hit YouTube, guys. I mean, you talk about finding a diamond in the rough. I found a diamond in the rough. I found videos that will change the course of EA Sports, I think, when you hear them. Because I'll tell you, a lot of people like to sit there and make comments that, oh, this guy is so mad. I'm not mad. I'm happy. Like, I love to talk about football. But I'll tell you right now, I watched a video this week, and I had to stop it at a couple points. Because there were times where I just looked at my screen and I was mad. I was mad at EA Sports, I was mad at the state of Madden, and I was more mad knowing that if this is the thought process of individuals within that building, then they are so disconnected from us as a community and a consumer, nothing we ever do is going to make this game better. But I'll save that for the end of this, because the first 10 minutes were pretty positive about you guys making changes, because I do want your guys' voices to be heard. And I appreciate that any of us are willing to sit here and listen to anyone talk about making these games better. With that said, you know I appreciate you watching this video, and I will be back in the week with more commentary.